Okay, guys, so for this review video, we're actually going to work backwards and we're going to start off by asking ourselves, WTF, what's the formula? You cochinos, you thought. So, looking through these formulas, there's one that is absolute trash because it's two formulas combined into one. So I'm actually just going to get rid of this one that has the big brackets on it. So ignore that guy. Next, to distinguish what type of formula we're looking at, we look to the letters on the left. If it says SN, SN is going to be a sum. Okay, so these are all sum formulas. This guy right here is also a sum formula because it has the S. If it says AN, AN is going to be an nth term formula. So that's an nth term, and this one over here, because it has the AN, that's also an nth term. So let's go back to the sums for a second. When we look at the sums, the sum, this first one here, it's got some R's in it, so that automatically tells you that this is a geometric sum. These R's should technically have parentheses right here. And then if you look at the next one doesn't have any R's, so this is going to be your arithmetic sum. Okay. The last one is a special one because you notice this is a capital S. This one is reserved for summations that involve an infinity because there is no infinity button on your calculator. So if you see a sum that's infinite, you would actually just use this formula instead. Okay, so now we're going to talk about nth term. What the heck does nth term mean? Nth term means that you're looking for a specific term within your list. So I could ask you for like the 25th term. So that's what the nth term is. Now you'll notice that this one has a D in it. So the one that has the D in it means that it's arithmetic. To find D, you would take any pair of next door neighbor numbers and you would do the right number minus the left number. Okay. If you notice the other nth term formula, the nth term here, this is going to be a geometric because it has the R on it. So that's a geo. And if you want to find R, R is going to be equal to the right number divided by the left number. So that's how you find all your stuff for your formula. So we're going to just go right into it. So this question says find A1. A1 is the first term, A2 is the second term, A3 is the third term, and then A22 is the 22nd term. So that means we have to use the nth term formula. Actually, not even. They gave us the formula. It's right here. So now that they gave us a formula, and by the way, this is an nth term, which is also referred to as the explicit. If you notice this formula here, it doesn't look like the nth term formula because the nth term formula looks like this. So give me a second and I'll show you where this formula is coming from. So let's go ahead and just plug it in. So because this is a 1, that means that we're going to plug in 1. So negative 6 times 1 plus 34 would be the first one. This one would be negative 6 times 2 plus 34. This would be negative 6 times 2 plus 34. Not 2, 3. We're on 3 right there. And then this one would be negative 6 times 22 plus 34. Now, I'm going to let you guys do the calculator stuff, but the reason why this formula doesn't look like the nth term formula is because it's already been plugged in. Matter of fact, I'll do the first one. So if I go into my calculator, let's get rid of this stuff. We'll go into the calculator and we'll put in negative 6 parentheses 1 plus 34. That right there is positive 28. So this is 28. And then the next term, if I was to do one more, I would go back up to here and just change that to a 2. You could also do a table anytime you're trying to find multiple answers using the same formula. So this would be 22. So from there, you'll be able to see A1 is 28. And then this is going down by 6. So we're going to have a minus 6 right here. And then we had n minus 1. So if we distribute this, this is minus 6n plus 6 with the 28. And then this 28 right here combines. And that's negative 6n plus 34. And that is exactly where they got this formula from. So it's just a simplified version of the nth term formula. Now, like I said before, I'm going to let you guys go ahead and, figure out the rest of these because it's all calculator work and it's in the answer key. Okay, the next one says find the sum. So you got to be real careful about this. find the sum of the first 25 terms. So the first thing we have to do is we have to figure out what kind of a list this is. If you notice from here to here, if we were to go from right to left using subtraction, it would be -4 or -13, sorry, -13 minus -4. So this is going to give me -9. And I'm not going to type it in every time, but this is going to be -9 every single time. So right away, that tells us that this is going to be an arithmetic sequence. Now, to do an arithmetic sequence and to find the sum, it requires that you know the first number and the 25th number. So the first thing we're going to have to do is find the 25th number. So the 25th number is going to be the first number in the list plus the common difference, which we found was -9. And then we want to plug in 25 minus 1. So if we go into our calculators, we can plug that stuff in. Let's get out of that. And we'll say -4 plus -9, parentheses, 25 minus 1. So the 25th number in this list is -220. Now that's not the answer, that's just the 25th number, and we need that because the formula that we need to use to find the sum is going to be sum of n divided by 2, parentheses, a1 plus, the formula in the back says a sub n, but this is going to be a sub 25, which we now have the answer to. The answer was -220, so we're going to plug that in there. Since we're finding the sum of 25 numbers, these two n's are 25. So we're going to end up with 25 over 2. The first number in the list was -4. The 25th number in the list was -220. And then we just go into the calculator and type that in. So we're going to have fraction 25 over 2, parentheses, -4, -4 plus -220. And then we're going to hit equals, and the answer is -2800. So when we add up all 25 numbers from the list, the answer is going to be -2800. And we wouldn't be able to plug it in, or we wouldn't be able to do it without doing this first step right here. So this is what we called in class the two-step problem. The next one says find the sum for the first 25 terms. Now I imagine that since this is 2b, it's probably going to be a geometric, but we'll just double check. If I subtract that, that's 8, and if I subtract that, that's not 8. So this is probably geometric. So I could do 12 divided by 4, 36 divided by 12, and so on, and you're going to see that the answer is going to be r equals 3. So all I did was divide from right to left. So then, since we want to find the sum, the nice thing about a geometric sum is that you don't need the 25th number. All you need is the first number. So the sum of the 25 numbers is going to be the first number, and then 1 minus your r. Your r is 3, and I'm going to put that in parentheses. And we want to do that to the n power, so this would be 25. And then the bottom is going to be 1 minus parentheses 3. Now, when you type this in the calculator is going to look like this. So it's going to be 4 parentheses 1 minus parentheses 3 to the 25th power, which is going to give you a very, very big number. Let's get that parentheses regular size. And then we're going to have 1 minus parentheses 3. So you'll notice that this problem, it has an e plus 12. That's basically scientific notation telling you to move the decimal 12 places. Now on this test, we're not going to have you move it. We're just going to use 3 decimal places and then put times 10 to the 12th power. So we would put 1 point, I forgot what it said, 94. Actually, it would be 1.695 by rounding. I forgot again. 695 times 10 to the 12th power. So we're not going to require you to write out the decimal 12 places to the right and then write the whole huge number, because that's ridiculous. Okay, the next one says find the 50th term of the sequence. 50th term right there, that tells you right away that that's the nth term. So again, we have to distinguish what type of formula we need to use. So we need to know what type of sequence this is. So going from 9 to 17 is plus 8. 17 plus 8 is 25. And then 25 plus 8 is 33. So this is definitely an arithmetic sequence. So because it's going by 8, that means D is equal to 8. So we're going to do A sub 50 equals the first term plus the common difference, and then 50 take away 1. And I know I said earlier I was going to just have you guys type it in, but I might as well do it. I'm already here in a closet in the library. I know that doesn't make sense to you guys, but I needed some peace and quiet, non-interruptions going on in here. So I found the closet in the media center and I'm recording this for you. So you're welcome. So the answer is going to be 401. The next one asks us to find the 20th term. And again, this is 3B, so I'm assuming that this one's going to be geometric. So we'll just double check. Now you can take these two and divide them in the calculator, but I would probably just divide those two, because if it's geometric, it should have the same pattern. So if you do 24 divided by 6, that's going to give you 4. 96 divided by 24 is 4 again. So this is geometric. R is equal to 4. So if I want the 20th term to find a geometric sequence 20 numbers down following that pattern, we need the first number, which is 3/8, the common ratio, and then we've got to the n minus 1 power. So we would put 20 minus 1 up here. So in the calculator, we would hit fraction 3/8, and then parentheses 4 to the 20 minus 1. And again, that gives us that e to the whatever thing. That's that scientific notation. So we're going to take this 3 decimal places. So it's going to be 1 point, I forgot the number already, 1.031 times 10 to the 11th power. That's our answer because it's a huge number. Okay, these problems right here, this is all calculator work, so I'm going to let you guys do those, but I will actually talk about this one down here at the bottom. This one cannot be done in the calculator because in the calculator we do not have an infinity button. So don't ever ask me where the infinity button is because there isn't one. So what you're going to have to know is there's a formula for infinite sums, and it goes like this. The infinite, actually it's not an n, it's the infinite sum. On the formula sheet it doesn't have the infinity, it's just a capital S, so I'll just use that. It's going to be your first number. Now the cool thing about these sigma problems, this is the first number because I know it's geometric, and I know it's geometric because there's multiplying involved here. And not only that, there's the fraction with the exponent, so that's your geometric sequence, so that's R. So you're going to just use the first number, and then you're going to do 1 minus R. Your R is negative 2/5. Put that in the calculator, and it should add up to a finite answer. So we'll have negative 4, and then 1 minus negative 2/5. Negative 2/5. Close that bad boy. And the sum is negative 20/7. I don't know why I wrote that. Hold on. Negative 20/7. And that's kind of weird because you would expect something that's infinite to add up to infinity, but in this case, because R is a decimal, it doesn't. Okay, so this one says, is it arithmetic or is it geometric? Well, there's an easy way to find out. You just use subtraction. So if I do 5/4, subtract 5/2, that answer is negative 5/4. And then if I do the next pair, 5/8, subtract 5/4. If this is arithmetic, it should be the same answer both times. And you can see it's not. So this is not arithmetic. So just to double check, I'm going to make sure it's geometric. So we do right divided by left. So 5, actually I can probably just go up and change this to a division symbol. So let's go to here, delete that, and put in divide. So that answer is 1/2. And then I can go up to this problem here and change that to a division. And that's 1/2. So we know for a fact this is geometric. And we also know that r is 1/2. It says, write the sum using sigma notation. So the first part of this is pretty easy because we know that we're starting from 1, because most of them do, since this is the first number. And then this is second, third, fourth, fifth. So we don't need any fancy math. We know we're going to add up 5 terms. So the top number has to be 5. Now, because we know this is geometric, setting up the formula is actually pretty easy because you just use the nth term formula. The nth term formula is the first term times r to the n minus 1. So that's basically what goes into this formula part, but we plug in our values. So the first term was 5/2, the r was 1/2, and then we stick an n minus 1, and that's our answer. Okay, number 9. Number 9 is a pretty easy problem. It says there's 1,500 bacteria. The scientists are testing medicine that causes the number of bacteria to halve each hour. So this is a problem where it's basically like a half-life. The most important part here is T represents the number of hours. So here's your formula, and it says how many bacteria will be present after 4 hours. 4 hours is time, so that you just got to plug in the T. So we do 1,500 times 1/2 to the 4th power, and then type that in your calculator. 1,500 times 1/2. And we got to close that parentheses and raise that to the 4th power. I need this as a decimal, so that's 93.75. But if you read the final part of the sentence, it says round your answer to the nearest whole number. So if I do 93.75 rounded up, it's going to be 94 for the final answer. This next question is about a garden, and it's got bushes. Basically, it's what shrubs are. It's got 18 rows, and it says the first row has 14, the second row has 19, and then the third row has 24, and it goes like that all the way up until the 18th row. So the first part, it says write the equation expressing the number of shrubs in a row as a function of the number of rows. That's all fancy talk. Let me put this formula back. It's 14, 19, 24, and then dot, dot, dot. Now, you can tell that this is arithmetic because it looks like it's going up by 5 each time. So D is equal to 5. Yeah. Okay. So then, if we want to write a formula is just going to be the nth term. So the nth term is going to be the first number plus the common difference, and then n minus 1, and then you just simplify it. So if you distribute this, you end up with 5n minus 5, and then 14 plus drops down, and then you combine the 14 minus 5. 14 take away 5 is 9. So we have 5n plus 9 for our formula. And the nice thing about this formula is it will tell you how many plants are in each specific row. So now the question says find the number of shrubs in the 5th row. So that means that we just have to plug in 5. So in the 5th row, we're going to have 5 times 5 plus 9. So that's 25 plus 9. That's going to end up being, what's that, 25 plus 9 is 34. So there would be 34 plants in the 5th row. The last one says in a financial arrangement, you're promised $500 in the first day, and each day after you'll receive 45% of the previous day's amount. This of right here is important, and so is this 45%. 45%, anytime you're talking about percentages, you're usually going to use geometric, because to calculate a percent, you have to multiply. Okay, so when the first day amount drops below $1, you stop getting paid from that day on. It says, what is the first day you would receive no payment? Okay, so first we have to come up with a formula. So we've already established it's going to be geometric. So I'm going to find a sub n equals. In order to do a geometric, I have to find the first term. $500 is the first day, so that's your a sub 1. So I put a 500 here. And then our rate is going to be 45%. Now 45% has to be written as a decimal, so it'd be 0.45. And then we would have our n minus 1 right here. Now, we have to figure out on which day we're going to stop getting paid. So I'm going to go into my calculator. I'll head over to the table. And then from the table, I've already got it in there. So I'm going to go into my table. And this is how much we're getting paid. We continue to get paid until it drops down below $1. So on the ninth day is the last day we get paid. So it says, what's the first day you would receive no payment? That would be the ninth day. Then it says, what is your total income? Now, when it says total income, total means that you're going to add up all the days you got paid. So we're going to have to do the sum. So the sum of the geometric sequence is going to be the first number, which is your 500. Then it's going to be 1 minus r. So my r is 0.45. And this is going to be to the n power. The n is going to represent how many days we did get paid. So here's the thing. When you go look at your chart, they stopped paying us on day 9. So we didn't get that money. So we're only going to plug in all the way up until 8. So I'm going to do this to the 8th power. And then I'm going to put 1 minus 0.45 down at the bottom. A lot of people get this wrong because they include that 9th day, but you didn't get paid. They stopped paying you that day. Okay, so I'm going to go into my calculator now, go into the regular calculator stuff, delete all this, and then fraction 500, parentheses, 1 minus 0.45 to the, oops, I got to put the 0.45 in parentheses, 0.45 to the 8th power, and then we put 1 minus 0.45 down at the bottom. And this is how much money we would make. We would make $907.56. And this is money, so I'll put the dollar sign. And we did this for the first 8 days. Now the rest of the review, it's questions from the conics test. So I'm not going to go over that stuff. So hopefully this video helped out a little bit because some of you cannot afford to do bad on this test. So make sure you're watching the video, make sure you understand. And if you don't understand, find me in the morning because I'm going to the Suns game tonight.